Okay. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah bi'alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala Imam Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali fi kitabih Bidayahtul Hidayah wa nafa'ana bihi wa bi ulumihi wa bi ulumikum fid darain amin radhiyallahu ankum. Okay. Inshallah today will be going through we will be finishing up regarding the chapter of fasting of Bidayahtul Hidayah, and then after that we will continue with a short treatise of Imam An-Nawawi's al-Majmu, talking about Laylatul Qadr, and then we will end this session inshallah. And then inshallah after Ramadan there will be other books inshallah, like Aqidatul Awam, but another tasawwuf book that we will try to complete. Okay, so let's continue. So Imam Ghazali, in his Bidayahtul Hidayah, there is a bab, or there is a chapter of fasting, in which we have covered regarding voluntary fasting, and the benefits of the different types of voluntary fasting, and also the fasting which is wajib, which is the fasting of the month of Ramadan. So today we are just going to focus about the inner aspects of fasting. So Imam Ghazali, he mentioned, when you do fast, do not think that fasting is simply living off eating, drinking, and marital relations. For verily the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how many indeed are those who fast, yet get nothing of fasting save hunger and thirst. This is equivalent if you read Ihya al-Ulumuddin of Imam Ghazali. This refers to the first category of person, in which the first category of people, they fast, but they only fast from food and drinks. They don't take care of their eyes, they don't take care of their tongue, they don't take care of their ears, they don't take care of their private parts, their legs, everything that Allah gave them, they don't take care. So their fasting are just like the fasting of people which prevents themselves from eating food and drink. At the same time, they don't get any rewards for their fasting, which is the fasting of the awam, the fasting of the normal people. Most people fast during the month of Ramadan, but they don't care to take extra precaution, to take care of their tongue, to take care of their eyes. These are just not people fast. They just fast on a normal day. They just fast like normal, but they don't get any rewards from it. And then a complete fast entails restraining every part of the body from what Allah Most High dislikes. That means to protect yourself from ma'asiyah. The first thing is you protect your eyes from looking at things that are disliked. It is mentioned, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned, An-nazru sahmu mazmu min sihamil iblis, la'anahullahu ta'ala. Faman tarakahu khawfan min Allahi azza wa jal, atahullahu imanan yajidu halawatuhu fi kalbih. Now, what does it mean? There is a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam which mentioned, An-nazru sahmun masmun min sihamil iblis, la'anahullahu ta'ala. What does it mean? It means that the sight or the vision is an arrow, but is a poisonous arrow. So the vision or looking at, just looking, is actually a poisonous arrow from the many arrows of shaitan, iblis. Allah, the curse iblis. Then Prophet also mentioned, faman tarakahu khawfan min Allahi azza wa jal, atallahu imanan yajidu halawatahu fi qalbi. Whoever lives seeing, looking at things which is haram, or looking with shahwat, looking with desires, which is impermissible for him or for her, then Allah will grant sweetness of iman inside the person's heart. That means when that person do ibadah, he will feel sweetness in doing the ibadah. Whenever he recites Quran, whenever he's reading or going to the gatherings of knowledge, then his heart will feel at peace. His heart, some of the students of knowledge, whenever they are reading books, they just lose sight of time. Normal people, they read books, they get bored. But those people that Allah opens up their heart, Allah makes them, whenever they hear the reminders or they hear nasiha, counsels from the books of ulama or from the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they find that it is like honey. It is like honey. It is so sweet that it is even sweeter than honey. Some of the awliya or salihin, during the month of Ramadan, they don't read Al-Quran in the morning. Because why? Because whenever they recite Al-Quran in the morning, they feel that they are actually eating honey. They taste the sweetness of honey in their tongue when they recite the Quran. So therefore, some of the Solihin or the pious people, they recite Al-Quran during the nights of Ramadan, fearing that it will break their fast. These are all stations that Allah grants the righteous servants. Okay. And then the tongue from uttering what does not concern you. There is a hadith mentioned in An-Nawawi. Min husnil Islam mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. From the beauty or from the perfection of someone's iman is that he lives what doesn't concern him. The tongue. The tongue, Allah created the tongue. It is something wonderful, the tongue, because the tongue can be used to gain Allah's pleasure, to do dhikr, to read Quran, to do amar ma'ruf and nahi munkar, to ask people to get closer to Allah and prevent them from doing the evil deeds. That's the beauty of the Quran, or the beauty of the tongue. But the tongue can also be a double-edged sword. Because of the tongue, a lot of people, they land themselves in places that gain the displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because of the tongue. That's why they say the tongue is sharper than a sword. You don't take care of your tongue, it will cut you. It will cut you. When Rasulullah SAW was doing Isra and Mi'raj, he saw in Jahannam or in hellfire there are a lot of women. This one not a personal attack to women, but just what is narrated in the story. And then they ask why are there a lot of the majority of the inhabitants of the hellfire are women? Because they don't take care of their tongue. Sometimes makcik, like to gossip here, gossip there. Some people just don't take care of their tongue. They don't know how to take out people's hearts. And so that's the negativity of tongue if you don't take care of your tongue. And the ear from listening to one Allah, the magnificent and majestic, has forbidden. We want to talk about the ear. Sometimes we are in a gathering in which there are gossips. People gossip about these people, gossip about that people. It is mentioned that someone which gossip and someone which is in that gathering just hearing the gossip, they are the same. They share the sins. So be careful when we are fasting, or even on days in which we are not fasting, take care of our ears. Because if we don't take care of our ears, then we will eventually, we will take the sins upon us, even though we don't meant to gossip. Next, say Imam Al-Ghazali say, for verily the listener is participant with the speaker, and he counts as one of the two backbiters. They these people, when they gossip about other people, is like they are eating the flesh of one another. And no one wants to eat their own brothers or their own sisters' flesh. Imam Ghazali continue, you must restrain all of your limbs, just as you restrain the stomach and the private parts. For a narration tells us 5 things break the fast: lying, backbiting, tale-bearing, false oath, and looking with lust. About this. خمس خصال يفترن صائم وينقضن الوضوء الكذب والغيبة والنميمة والنزر بشهوة واليمين الكاذبة. So the meaning of this is that whenever when there is when we are fasting and then we get ourselves involved in lying, we get ourselves involved in lying, kizib, or giba. Giba means you backbite, gossip here, gossip there. What is considered backbiting? Backbiting is like this. Even if it is the truth, but if the other person, if they were to hear what we were discussing or what we are actually describing about them behind their backs and they wouldn't like it, that is called backbiting. For example, you have a friend. Your friend is, for example, short, or your friend is he have some characteristics which you make fun of, and then you talk to another friend. You know this person, that person short lah. If the person that we are actually referring to, if they were to hear that and their hearts will get affected, or they will be sad, then that is considered backbiting, even even if it is the truth. The next, tale-bearing. Tale-bearing. What is tale-bearing? Tale-bearing is even worse. Tale-bearing is when you cause two people to fight. You go to this person and then you just create a story, make this person angry at another person. And then once you are gone with this person, you go to another person and tell the same thing, so that these two person fight, and that is called namima. That is called namima. Namima is making two person fight. In Malay, it's called kayu api. Go to this person, make that person hot. Go to that person, make another person hot, make them fight. And then false oath. False oath. What is false oath? False oath. False oath is you actually make an oath, or you swear, but that oath by itself in its nature is actually a lie. That is false oath. And lastly, looking with lust. Looking with lust. That means you look with shahwat, with lust. That will the ulama mentioned in the books of fiqh, what consists or what is considered as looking with lust. Looking is with lust is, for example, you look at something and then you feel shahwat, you feel desires. That is looking with lust. Even if you are looking at the wall, jidar, you look at the wall and you feel lust, you have shahwat looking at the wall, that is by itself is haram, and there is a sin in that. What more, you look at your phone, you look at things which is not made haram by Allah Azza wa Jal, or you go to the street to take your bus, you take MRT, and then you look with shahwat, it will break the fast. But in this context, these 5 things, it break the fast. It doesn't mean that it break the fast in terms of the hukum. It doesn't break the fast in terms of hukum of fiqh, but it actually break the fast. What does it mean? It nullifies the rewards of fasting. That is what it means by whenever someone does these 5 things, it will break the fast. It breaks or it nullifies the rewards of fasting. So that person just fast redundantly. He don't get anything from his fast except for thirst and hunger. And then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, verily fasting is a shield. So if one of you is fasting, he should not engage in obscene talk nor behave foolishly. Fasting is a shield. How is it a shield? It is a shield from shaitan. It is a shield from your desires. It is a shield from ma'asiyat. Because when you are fasting, you actually constricts your blood vessel. No, our blood vessel. That is where shaitan actually, shaitan's transport or his pathways to the human heart. is the blood vessels. If we are someone which fast, we actually constrict our blood vessels because our body will become dehydrated. There's not much of water. Our veins will constrict. It becomes harder for shaitan to move. If we eat a lot, our veins become like wild wet. But if we are able to take care of our nerves, if we are, we fast, we take care of our limbs, then it becomes a shield for us from maksiat. So if one of you is fasting, he should not engage in obscene talk, nor behave foolishly. Obscene talk means you talk, things which doesn't benefit you in dunya or in akhirat. Doesn't benefit you in this dunya, doesn't benefit you in akhirat. Obscene talk. Obscene talk consists of you talking lewd topics or talking about things which is perverting. That is also another type of obscene talk. Another type of obscene talk is, for example, you curse someone, or you talk about things which is not supposed to be discussed in public. That is obscene talk. Nor behave foolishly. That means you take care of your adab, take care of your mind, take care of your heart, take care of your tongue, take care of your body. Then if a person is hostile towards him or insults him, then he should say, I am fasting. Regarding this, in the Sharah of Bidayahtul Hidayah, it mentions this. When should we say, when someone comes and insult us when we are fasting, when should we say that I am fasting? This one got two explanations. The first explanation is when you are fasting, the fasting of obligatory fasting, like the fasting of Ramadan. When you fast the month of Ramadan, or you are doing, for example, nazar or qada. Nazar means you take an oath to fast, and then you are doing that fast. Or you are doing qada, you are paying back the obligatory fast that you are supposed to fast. Then in this situation, when someone comes to you and insult you and make you angry, then you should say, I am fasting, with your tongue and with your heart. This is for the obligatory fast. But for the fast of the sunnah fasting means voluntary fasting. What should we do when someone make us angry? We should say, I am fasting, but not with the tongue, but with the heart. That means someone go to you and just attack you or something like that. You should say, I am fasting with your heart, but not with your tongue. Because in this way, it will protect your ibadah. It will protect your heart from riya, from ujub. So that, people don't know you are fasting. You are able to protect your heart from thinking you are better than the rest. So these are the explanation, interpretation of this hadith mentioned in the Sharah of Bidayahtul Hidayah. Okay, next. Moreover, you must make every effort to break your fast with lawful food, and not eat so much so that you end up eating more than you normally eat every night. Because that is actually the purpose, or that is actually the objective of fasting, is that you firstly break your fast with lawful food. Secondly, you do not eat more than you normally would. The importance of fasting, or the importance of halal food, is that is actually the key to the response of your dua. That is the key to the gates of Allah responding to your dua. The same with anything, your clothing, anything you eat, anything you wear, right? If there is a thin or even a small part of haram in it, then it will not be accepted. For example, if you have your shirt, there is even a thread of haram in it, and then you do for salah, it will not be accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal. What more about food? Because this food, you consume it, it becomes your blood, it becomes your cells, it becomes your meat. it becomes a part of you. If only a thread which is from haram we wear and we do salah, Allah never accept. What more if it becomes our cells? It becomes part of us. Allahu A'lam. And the purpose of fasting is to actually cut down on food, cut down on sleep, cut down on talking. But if we fast and that we don't cut down in any of this aspect, then what is our fasting? Come the month of Ramadan, we eat more than we are supposed to. When we eat more, we become lazier, heavier. Our stomach become heavier. Our eyes become so heavy that we want to sleep more. Even though sleeping in Ramadan, there's pahala, but what is the state of someone that sleeps when he can do good deeds, right? Imam Al-Ghazali mentioned there is no difference if you end up eating the same amount, whether you do it in one meal or two. So that means you should cut down on the total number of or the total calories, not you split it up. At the end of the day, it equates to a large amount of food. So you should cut the total amount of food, not cut the number of food you consume at once, but then you spread it out. So there is no difference. The purpose of fasting is to break your desire and weaken your appetite, so you can have the strength to increase your taqwa. Whoever some stomachs, when someone's stomach is empty, then their heart will be enlivened, their heart will be enlightened by Allah Azza wa Jal. If you eat in the evening as much as you miss eating during the late afternoon, then there is no benefit in your fasting, and you have placed a burden on your stomach. There is no container that Allah Most High dislikes more than a stomach filled with the lawful. Even if the food that we eat is lawful and we overfill it in our stomach, that by itself is dislike. What more about a lot of food that which we consume, and then that food is from haram. So the best is cut down on our food and make sure our food is halal. Then Imam Ghazali mentioned, now that you understand the meaning of fasting, fast as much as you can, for it is the foundation of acts of worship and the key to that by which one draws near to Allah Azza wa Jal. We human beings, we have four enemies. We all know this. Firstly is shaitan. Secondly is nafs, your desire. Thirdly is dunya. Fourth is what? The fourth is shaitan, dunya, nafs, and hawa. There's a difference between nafs and hawa, but they belong to the same category. And there are four ways in which we can actually battle ourselves, we can fight, and these are called riyadah. Riyadah in Arabic means exercise. And there are actually spiritual exercises that we can do, like how we actually train our body, our mind, our heart, our muscles. We can actually train our soul. There are four different exercises to train our soul. Firstly is to cut down on talking. Cut down on talking. Secondly is to cut down on food. Thirdly is to cut down on sleep. Fourth is to cut down on mixing with people. So if someone does that, then they are actually training themselves to get closer to Allah, training their soul. The body can be trained, the soul can also be trained. And if we look in the month of Ramadan, we can find all four trainings in the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, if we fast properly, we actually cut on our food. We cut on our sleep. We cut on talking. Lastly, and we cut on mixing with a lot of people. So all of this training can be found in the month of Ramadan if we take care of it. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah most blessed and exalted says, every good deed is rewarded from 10 times to 700 times, except for fasting. For indeed it is for me, and I will reward it. So all of our good deeds later, all of our good deeds, whether it is fasting, whether it is salah, whether it is zikr, whether it is sadaqah or zakah or hajj, different deeds, different deeds actually open different gates in Jannah. There are different gates in Jannah, and we will actually be able to enter, or we will enter from the gate in which we are most frequent in that ibadah. For example, if we are someone which read a lot of Quran, or we do a lot of salah, or we do a lot of fasting, and we love these different ibadah, then we will enter through the gate in which we are most used to. Which ibadah that we are most used to, we will enter through that gate in Jannah. So different gates have different specialty. This is the gate of fasting, this is the gate of salah, and so on and so forth. So depending on our acts. But what if we are someone which does all of these different ibadah? Then we will enter from the gate which we love the most and which we do the most. And then all of the deeds are rewarded by Allah 10 to 700 times, except for fasting. For indeed, it is for Allah, and it is Allah is the one that will reward it. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, by him in whose hand is my soul, the smell of the breath of a fasting person is more pleasant to Allah than the scent of musk. Regarding the breath also, this ulama differ. This scent or this smell from the mouth of the person which is fasting, right? This smell needs to come from the person when he is fasting, for example, in a state of fasting. Not this smell is being built up when he is sleeping, then he wakes up during the month of Ramadan, not that. But the smell needs to come when he is actually in a state of fasting, not because of prolonged sleep, but because of the state of awake, and he is fasting because of the time he is staying awake and he is fasting, fighting his nafs. There is a scent over time, which actually builds up from his mouth, this breath. For this breath is actually better than the scent of musk, not the smell or the odor in which someone sleep for a very long time, from subuh all the way until asar. He sleep, then he wakes up, his mouth smell worse than rubbish truck. Not that type of smell is we love, not from sleeping, but from fasting and being awake. This one is mentioned in the book of fiqh. Allah Most High, most blessed and exalted says, truly he has given up his desire, his food, and his drink only for my sake. Fasting is for me, and I will reward for it. Fasting is for Allah, and Allah is the one that will reward the person. What more in the month of Ramadan? What more in the last 10 days of Ramadan? Still further, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the paradise has a door called Rayyan, through which none enter except those who fast. And once they have entered, that door is closed. Allahu a'lam for the kitab of Bidayahtul Hidayah. So yeah, just to do a recap on the 3 different categories of fasting. The first fasting type is the fasting of the general masses. So these people, they fast only from food and drink, but they just do ma'asiyat without any pause. So outside of Ramadan, inside Ramadan is the same for them. Ma'asiyat is still ongoing, but just that they only don't eat and drink during the day, or they don't get anything other than hunger and thirst. Secondly, the fasting of the elect or the chosen one. This one are the people which Allah protects, the people which Allah loves, So Allah made these people be able to protect their eyes, their ears, their tongue, their heart from doing ma'asiyat to Allah Azza wa Jal. And these are the people, or the fasting of the chosen ones. The third category is the fasting of the elect of the elects. So these are the elect of the chosen ones. These people, they fast with their hearts. Not only they fast from food and drink and protect themselves from maksiat, their limbs, but they fast with their heart. What does it mean? If any moment in their day that they forget Allah Azza wa Jal, or they are in the state of ghafla, in the state of forgetfulness of Allah Azza wa Jal, they do not do zikir, they don't remember Allah, they are not present with Allah in their fast, then they consider for themselves their fast is not is broken. This is the fasting of the elects, the fasting of the solihin, the fasting of the pious people, the fasting of the prophets. So this is for us to just reflect on ourselves. Which type of fasting have we been fasting for the past 23 days? We are still left with a week also. Okay, so now we are going to move on to a short treatise of Laylatul Qadr from al-Majmu of Imam An-Nawawi. Regarding Laylatul Qadr, there is a book. It's a very big book by Imam Nawawi. So we are talking about this. Why? Because of the importance of knowing about Laylatul Qadr, because this is last 10 days of Ramadan, and in which in these 10 days there is a night which is called Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree or night of power. Okay, firstly, mentioned in Surah Al-Qadr, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr wa ma adraka ma Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr khairun min alfi shahr. That the night of decree khairun min alfi shahr. That means the night of decree is better than 1,000 months, which equates to 83 years and 1/3 of a year. So whatever deed that we do on that night, it will be multiplied by 1,000 months, multiplied by the deeds or the rewards of in 83 years. Imagine just one deed, just one night. The reason for this, some ulama or wisdom for it, is that the previous ummah, the previous generations of people to have lived before us, some of them live almost 1,000 years. For example, the ummah of Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, and the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best average for us to gauge our life based on the life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is 63 years old. And if we reach the age of 63 years old, anything more than that, consider it a bonus from Allah Azza wa Jal. So that is one of the ways in which Allah grants to the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam the night of Laylatul Qadr, such that one night will be multiplied by 1,000 months. The meaning of it is that a night better than 1,000 months is that 1,000 months without Laylatul Qadr. The significance for this, so this Laylatul Qadr is significant for the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only the ummah or the community of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ummah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have this night of Laylatul Qadr. It did not exist in the previous generations. It is such an blessing and honor to be the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because there are a lot of blessings. Even until all the other prophets, they wanted to be the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for the naming, why is it called the night of Laylatul Qadr? Because firstly, Qadr, it means the night of determination and decree. Qadar and Qadar, the Qadar it is a night of determination and decree. Some ulama also mentioned because there is a great honor in that night. But the correct interpretation of this night is that during this night, the task of the angels for the year to come is being determined by Allah Azza wa Jalla. It is mentioned in the Surah Al-Qadr. Go and read the Surah and you'll find that during that night, the angels will descend and the umur or the things pertaining to the human being or creation is being decreed and determined during that night. For example, our lifespan, our rezeki, our health, or things which are going to occur on the following year is being decreed on the night of Laylatul Qadr. So Allah on that night commands the angels. and angels will descend from skies in bulks. The skies will be filled with light of the angels, just that we cannot see. Okay, so there are difference of opinions regarding the night of Laylatul Qadr. According to the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is mentioned, verily Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam exerted himself diligently in seeking Laylatul Qadr during the last 10 nights of Ramadan, such that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will go and do iktikaf in the masajid. Okay, so this difference of opinion regarding the night of Laylatul Qadr is that there are 3 different opinions. Firstly, is according to the mazhab of Imam Shafi'i and the majority of the companions of mazhab Imam Shafi'i, is that they mention that Laylatul Qadr is restricted to the last 10 nights of Ramadan, with uncertainty on which night it will fall. However, it occurs on one night, particularly one night, and unchanging until the day of judgment. So we wouldn't know which night it is. This is the first thought or first opinion. The second opinion is by Imam Muzani and his student. Imam Al-Muzani is a student of Imam Shafi'i also. So this is just his opinion that he mentioned that the nights of Laylatul Qadr shift every year in the last 10 nights. So it shifts. Maybe this year is 23rd, maybe next year is 25th, the following year is 27, and then shift back. Wallahu alam. And then the last opinion is by Imam Abu Ishaq al-Shirazi. He said that Laylatul Qadr can shift from the whole month. It can happen in the early part of Ramadan, middle part of Ramadan, or the end part of Ramadan. Some ulama even mentioned it happens in the 17th night of Ramadan, because during that night there is the Nuzul al-Quran and the night of Badr, the Perang of Badr, the War of Badr. Okay, next, the characteristics of Laylatul Qadr and the importance of knowing its occurrence. Firstly, the atmosphere during that night will be serene. It will be a serene night. Serene night means it will be a peaceful night, neither too hot nor too cold. So during that night, you will not feel so hot, you will not feel so cold. It will be a night in which your body will be at rest, your heart will be at peace. You will not be irritated by being too hot or too cold. Recently, these past few days in Singapore, we experience hot weather. Everywhere we go, very hot. We are sweating. So during that night, it will be a calm night. Second, and in the morning will be bright and white with a gentle radiance. That means when the sun is rising up, when you look at the sun, your eyes will not be hurt. There will not be like a reflective rays coming out from the sun, which will hurt your eyes until it rises. Some ulama mentioned that during the morning there will be a slight drizzle, slight rain. Some hadith also mentioned that during the night of Laylatul Qadr, the moon will be half, and this is a full moon, right? Circle. It will be like a semicircle. It will be half, like half of a plate. The night, and then some ulama also mentioned that people can, if they, farmers or people which grow trees, some of them even go to an extent which mentioned that their trees on that day seem like they were bowing down. Allahu A'lam. So, and why is it beneficial to know about Laylatul Qadr even after it has passed? There are 2 reasons. The first one is daytime worship. Even though we miss the night of Laylatul Qadr, the effect brings over to the daytime. That day is still considered the day which Laylatul Qadr falls on, because in the calendar of Islam, or in the day of Islam, the night comes before the day. So if you were to miss Laylatul Qadr during the night, don't give up. You still have the day to do ibadah. For example, you fall asleep, go and wake up and continue to do ibadah during the last 10 nights. It might be you will still receive the light, you still receive the barakah. And secondly is for someone the wisdom that it is concealed, so that we are consistent. So we don't become like a trader. We don't go to Allah, Ya Allah, one Laylatul Qadr, then I will trade with you. I pray to Allah, I seek I ask dua, I on that day I be on my best behavior. Because why I want Laylatul Qadr? So we are actually making a trade with Allah, behavior of a trader, but we don't want to be that. We want to have the behavior of the servant, not a behavior of a trader. So we take care of our night during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. You can do your Qiyamul Layl either with a group of people, or you can do your Qiyamul Layl on your own. Do which one give you more khushu, give you more presence of the heart, that you feel yourself with Allah Azza wa Jal. Some of our teachers, they used to separate themselves from people during the last 10 nights and do ibadah alone because they feel connected to Allah. When there are a lot of people, there might be distraction, you go to masjid, see this, or whatever. Some people, they just bring themselves in, hide themselves in their own house at night alone. Their heart is connected. But if you are not strong, you want to encourage people to go together to masjid, then that is even recommended. But if you want to have more presence and you feel comfortable on your own, then it's okay. So both ways is okay. There's no problem with it. So recommended acts during Laylatul Qadr is, of course, to intensify prayers, to do more supplications and act of worship, either reading Quran, learning knowledge. Learning knowledge is one of the big maqams, or one of the acts that you can do. Imagine we are learning knowledge, and tonight we are learning about Laylatul Qadr, and tonight is Laylatul Qadr. Learning knowledge is better than for us to do 1,000 ibadah. Whoever becomes alim for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, but of course not to live ibadah, is because of knowledge. It increase us in ibadah. So knowledge will make us act on amal, or make us do ibadah. That is the main objective of learning knowledge, for us to be able to act with that knowledge. There is also the hadith, man qama ramadana iman wahtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi wa man qama lailatul qadri iman wahtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi. Whoever stands in the night of Ramadan out of faith and in hope of reward of Allah, his previous sins will be forgiven. And whoever spends the night of Laylatul Qadr in prayer out of faith, in the hope of reward, his previous sins will be forgiven. So it is during this month of Ramadan that Allah actually forgives the sins of his creations. So whoever don't get the forgiveness of Allah in the month of Ramadan, then we don't know when they will get the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is recommended for us to do iktikaf in masjid. We need iktikaf, intend to iktikaf in masjid, and to stay awake throughout the night until dawn. Last time when we were studying at our town in Yemen, in that particular town, people don't sleep at night. They don't sleep at night. Shops are closed in the morning. They only open after midnight, after Tarawih time. MashaAllah, the night is alive at night during the month of Ramadan. So it is recommended for us to stay awake throughout the night because of the ayat of Suratul Qadr, Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr, that there is peace until the emergence of dawn. And then Saib al-Lahawi al-Mawardi, he mentions this: whoever witnesses Laylatul Qadr, what is recommended is firstly he keeps it hidden. Don't go around in your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram and post, oh, mashallah, I have gained Laylatul Qadr tonight. It's not recommended. That one action. So firstly, it's recommended to keep it hidden, and then pray sincerely with pure intentions and firm belief that whatever that you ask Allah regarding dunya and akhirat, Allah will qabul. Allah will accept it. Even more for us to make dua or to make supplication for our akhirat, because we will eventually pass away, and that is the most important thing. So in conclusion, indeed Laylatul Qadr is undoubtedly witnessed by whomever Allah wills from among the children of Adam during Ramadan each year, as narrated by the hadith. Even the Imam Nawawi, the one which wrote this short treatise in his al-Majmu regarding Laylatul Qadr, he was someone when he was young. during I think one of the nights of Ramadan, if I'm not wrong, it's in the 27th night of Ramadan. He just woke up in the night. He just looked outside his window, looked inside his house, and he saw a lot of light. So he went to his father. He said, "Oh, my father, why is the house so full of light? The sky is so full of light." And then the father are not able to see the light, but the father knows that, oh, this person, this my son, is someone special, that one day he's going to be someone which Allah takes care of him, going to benefit people. So there are some people which Allah showed them Laylatul Qadr, so they know during that night is Laylatul Qadr. So it is a grave error if someone said that, oh, we cannot know we cannot see Laylatul Qadr or feel Laylatul Qadr, because there are signs of Laylatul Qadr that we can actually see. Okay. So inshallah we come to an end of this. So we ask Allah to accept our efforts during the month of Ramadan, forgive our mistakes. If this night falls in the night of Laylatul Qadr, Allah grants us blessings in dunya, in akhirat, that Allah makes us to be people which benefit ourselves, benefit people, take care of ourselves, take care of our other people's heart, that Allah make us pass away in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and we will end with the supplication of Sayyidina Faqih Muqaddam. So this dua or prayer of Sayyidina Faqih Muqaddam is very encompassing. If you read it, in the Telegram group there is the PDF. You try to read the English part of it at the end of the dua. You will realize, oh, that dua is a big dua. It's not a kucing kurap dua. You know. So we will end with reciting this dua, inshallah. If tonight falls, the night of Laylatul Qadr, may Allah accept our dua, forgive our mistake, and witness that we try to learn knowledge during this night. So we'll end with the dua. Okay, try to see the dua. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sallim. Allahumma kunna wal muslimina minasyaqawati ila sa'adati wa minan nari ila jannati wa minal adhabi ila rahmati wa minad dunubi ila maghfirati wa minal isaati ila al-ihsan wa minal khafi ila al-aman wa minal fakri ila al-ghina wa minad dulli ila al-izzi wa minal ihanati ila al-karamati wa minad diki ila sa'ati ومن الشر إلى الخير ومن العسر إلى اليسرى ومن الإدبار إلى الإقبال ومن السقم إلى الصحة ومن السخط إلى الرضا ومن الغفلة إلى الإنابة ومن الفترة إلى الاجتهاد ومن الخذلان إلى التوفيق ومن البدعة إلى السنة ومن الجور إلى العدل. اللهم إنا على ديننا بالدنيا وعلى الدنيا بالتقوى وعلى التقوى بالعمل وعلى العمل بالتوفيق وعلى جميع ذلك بلطفك المفضي إلى رضاك المنهي إلى جنتك المسكوب ذلك بنظر إلى وجهك الكريم. يا الله يا الله يا الله يا رباه يا رباه يا رباه يا غوثا يا غوثا يا غوثا يا أكرم الأكرمين يا رحمن يا رحيم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا مواهب العظام. أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. اللهم أسألك توفيق لمحبك من الأعمال وصدق توكل عليك وحسن ظن بك وكن يا أمن سواك. إلهي يا لطيف يا رزاق يا ودود يا قوي يا متين. أسألك تعلقا بك واستقراقا فيك ولطفا شاملا من لدنك ورزقا واسعا هنيئا مريئا وسنا طويلا وعملا صالحا في الإيمان واليقين وملامسة في الحق والدين وإذا وشرفا يبقى يتعبد لا يشبه تكبر ولا عتو ولا فساد إنك سميع قريب. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. We can try read the dua every day. This is the dua which our teachers give us ijazah to read it, and you all go and read it. Give you all to read it. It's a really beautiful dua. Go and read the meaning and really appreciate the meaning. With that, we end our lesson on Bidayahtul Hidayah. Inshallah, after Ramadan, we will start with another kitab, which will be more consistent, which is not just 1 month, but continuous until the end of the year. We'll take it slowly and try to understand the kitab better. Inshallah, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Make dua for me.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. Have a good Laylatul Qadr, inshallah.